Hey everybody, we're back at it. I was telling you last night when I finished up, I still have to get right in this corner and in that corner way over there. I got to put some blocking right back in the corner to shim that out the same distance that all these other boards are out. So when I put the slanted boards on the wall there and on the wall here, it will, have a place to nail the end of it too out there. So I got to get those two done. That'll only take a few minutes. There's our 3-inch gap under here for 5-edge slab going under there on all of those. That's just my little spacer there that I was using. I want to keep them up a little bit more than the spacer, so I'd rest them on the spacer and just lift them up a touch. But I started putting the blocking here and a notch out for one of my lag bolts, which hold the top plate down to the cement. There's 8 inches of concrete inside of this styrofoam forms here with re-rod in it and everything. So we got one there. We're going to put 3 more pieces of wood on here because we have 4 on all the rest of them. Truss back here, 1, 2, 3, 4. Same thing on all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we'll get this end here blocked out, and then we'll be able to put this board on here, coming down on an angle like this, which will match right up to all these trusses. I was telling you those guys slid my trusses over this point. That point down right there was supposed to be clear out even with the end of this wall here. So it should have been over another, looks like darn near 6 inches. They just, frustrating. Anyway, we're making everything work. We had to make a couple changes in a couple walls, thicken out a couple walls and stuff, so we had wood underneath where the trusses were setting better, more wood under them. But I will let you go for now. I'm going to get busy and get to work on this stuff. Get these 2 corners done, then I can work on getting some marks to put those sloped boards on to match the trusses here. Yeah, the group of guys that put the trusses in, they're a great group of guys, very hard workers, very good at what they do, but they just weren't used to doing a complicated roof system like this. It's just not part of what they normally did. But I couldn't be fussy. I just needed somebody to get it done, and they did that, so I guess that's a good thing. Now I got to go down to that other corner down there, put some blocks in that corner, and then I can start insulating. Get my 6 inches of insulation on this end wall here, and put the slant boards up. I think what I'm going to do is put part of the insulation up on here, and then get my slant boards up before I put the rest of it up. Sounds like a plan, huh? Okay guys, this corner is similar but slightly different. I'm going to use a 2x6 for my first piece up here. I'll show you why. So I can get up here carrying a camera and a board. See that one there? When they tied that first truss in, they put a nailer on the edge of the truss here. Not sure exactly why. Maybe they had their truss spacing a little off or something, but there's a nailer on there anyway. And so this piece here is to hold that nailer in correct place for the, well, anyway, it's there. This here I'm going to put up here, 2x6. Got my screws offset towards the top. I'm going to set that in there, kind of like that there. And that'll be a good surface for when this board comes down here like this, we'll be able to, now we got to go 2 more thicknesses beyond this. So another 3 inches out to be flush with the rest of these that have 4. But use this 2x6 here, so I've got wood all the way down to the bottom. And we'll go from there. Now I'm going to get me a couple more pieces of 2x4 to plate that with, get it out here farther. Actually, you know what? I only need 1 more because there's one back here. Didn't figure that one in at first. There's one back here that was already there. And then there's the one that I said was up in the air. Then there's this one. So I only need 1 more piece of 2x4 on here for that slanted board to fasten to parallel the bottom of this, on the same plane as the bottom of this, bottom of all of these here. 1 more piece. Okay guys, another shift on the fly. Found a nice piece of 2x6 drop over there. We're going to put that in there. And that will work nice for putting that truss up against it right there. Okay, now that should be out flush with this. Yes, it is. Cool. Now, I don't know if I can get the boards put on here, temporary boards that are going to lay across the bottom of these trusses. I have one coming from, I'm probably going to go at least 3 trusses back. So it hits 3 of them here. And then right on across here to here like this. And then I can get my scribe or pencil line where the bottom of that board's got to set. I got to do the same thing up there, closer to the top, and 2 more over there. 1 up near the top and 1 down near the bottom where we just put those other blocks over in the corner. Hey guys, I just made a quick little sketch because I keep talking about that live edge slab that I'm going to put up there. It's going to be made in 2 pieces, and I'm going to book match them, but I'm going to book match them end to end instead of on the side like most people normally do. Let me show you kind of what I mean here. Let me turn this camera. Now, it's about 25 feet across here. I'm going to cut, I'm going to get a log that has, it's a pretty big diameter. I'm going to probably use something that's at least, you know, I'm going to say 28-inch diameter or bigger. Something with a crotch at one end, or at least a bell at one end. Maybe a bell like at the bottom of a tree close to the stump, you know, where it hits the ground, something like that. So it's wider. I'll put the wider part right in the center. So what I'm going to do is take 2 pieces and flip one end over end to end so that when I butt them together, they'll look kind of like this. So it'll stick out wider in the middle. And it's probably going to be, you know, stick out in the middle, will probably stick out somewhere 24 to 36 inches. The ends, you know, 18, 24 inches, something like that. And it'll go all the way across. And then underneath the center of it, what I will have under the center of it up there, where that shelf sticks out, the wide part, I'll have some kind of a, this wall is all going to be wood on here, something off the sawmill, probably multicolor, multi-species wood. So I'll have a piece on an angle like this that'll fasten to the wood and up underneath it. And there might even be a couple more sort of gussets, but something gnarly, cool looking to support that. And it'll rest on top of the top plate up there, that womanized top plate. It'll also rest on the end top plate, however far it comes out to 18 to 24 inches here and here. Then we'll have stuff setting up there. I don't know what we'll have up there. I mentioned Christmas decorations and Christmas time, but I've got an old wagon that was made in around 1920 approximately. I might set that up there in the middle. Some other old stuff up there. Just ideas for the future, you know. I just want you guys to know what I'm planning on here. It'll be pretty cool someday. Hey guys. Well, I know I said I was going to come back probably at least 3 trusses, but I got up here and eyeballed down through there, and they are very flush on the bottom, right on the same plane. Really good there. So I'm just making a 4-foot long piece. It's going to screw to here and butt into that vertical, actually that one right there. And then instead of putting a line on there to go to, I'm just going to leave that board screwed right on there. And when I lay that slant board on there, it'll just rest right on top of that board. And I'll put another one up farther here somewhere, across 2 trusses, and it'll just butt into the other one of these other uprights here. And then when I put my board up there, it'll just rest on top of them. Sorry guys, I didn't have my microphone turned on there. But yeah, that'll work out nice. I'm gonna get another one of these boards up higher somewhere. I gotta see how long of a piece I've got, how long of a 2x4 I've got. I think I have some 12 footers over there. Also not exactly sure how long one I want. I believe this room is 25 foot outside, not inside. So we're more like 23 inside. Okay, guys, since we're right here near the beginning of the video, please smash that like button on there and recommend us to a friend. Hope you enjoy watching. I got to go downstairs, get cleaned up, take Judy to the doctor's office. I will see you guys back here later today or tomorrow morning, and I'll be working on some more of this here to get ready to put the 2 slant boards up there and then insulating. It'd be really nice to get that end ready to go. Then I can start insulating my way back this way. That's the game plan. I'll see you in a little while. Actually, just in a couple seconds for you guys. Bye. Hey everybody, I don't know if you can see this or not, but the Big Dipper is right up over my pole barn right now. I don't know if it's showing up on camera very well, but there it is. Maybe if I zoom in just a little bit, get off the pole barn a little bit. There it is, right over the top of the pole barn. Pretty cool. Good morning, everybody. Well, we're back up here on the main floor. It's chilly up here this morning. It's about 0 outside and about 34 in here. Oh, it's almost up to 35 now. Wow, we're having a heat wave. Anyway, we're going to get back to work up here on the end gable, or gable end, I should say. I'm going to put another board. Let me flip you around here a second. We've got one board across there. I'm going to put another one across right here, and that'll be, it's about 10 feet from there up to there. I've got a 12-foot 2x4, so it won't quite reach that next one. But we'll get a board across here, get the 10-footer up in there. Actually, I'll put the 10-footer up in, or the 12-footer up in there first before I put that board up. Otherwise, it'd be hard to get it in place. So we'll get that 12-foot board up there with a screw to hold it up above where I've got to put the horizontal board here. And then once I get that board in there, I'll let the 12-footer back down against it, and we'll either make our way up to the peak or do this side here first and then do the peak last. One or the other, but we'll be making headway either way we go at it. First things first, we'll get a screw up there. That way when we bring that long board up here, I can stick one end over there, raise this end up till it sits on top of the screw. So it'll hold it in place while I'm getting my board over here. I think I'll go ahead and put that screw over here. Let's see. That should hold it up off there plenty good. Okay, left that sticking out most of the way. Now, get that 2x4 up here. Get this up over there, like so. Like I said, this will hold it a little bit higher than it needs to be, so that I can get a board on here. Once I get that board on there, I can take this back out and drop it down. It'll be resting on that crossboard there, and this crossboard here will hold it right parallel with the bottom of these. Dead battery. Oh, wouldn't you know it? Now I got to get this parallel with the ridge or with the wall, either or, same difference. That's close. Okay, rather than to try to measure from there up to this board in a couple of different places to make sure it's parallel, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use a square, even though these trusses could have a slight warp in them. That'll be close enough for what we're doing. It'll keep this within, 16th or so where it needs to be for that. So, see how we're sitting here. That still needs to come down a little. I'll try it off the other one too. And that's about perfect right there. Okay, now we're going to take this board off of that screw that we got it resting on up here. That right there. We're going to pull it this way until it touches that other board. Right there. That is where it needs to sit. Take that screw out of there. One that was holding it up extra high. Use it to hold it in place here. There we go. Now, go down there and fasten that in. Then we gotta get the other one up there and see what we gotta do to bring them together at the point. Like I said, it'd be easy if this truss was set on the exact same center as those, but they got it out on a misalignment somehow. And you don't really notice it much looking at the shingles up top because it's slight, but it's enough so in here doing drywall is going to be a pain in the butt. That'll work out pretty good. I can butt that next one right into it and have a corner to screw into. And if I want to, I can lay another piece right over where they come together and screw it to both pieces, just hold them together better. That'll work out pretty good. I think I'll do this other side over here next though. Got to get a couple more screws up there to the top. Just right. That one's a little steep. This one's just right for angle. Another YouTuber pointed that out to me recently, and I had heard it before. I was in the construction trades. Put your feet at the base ladder, hold your arms straight out. Right there on the side rails is the correct angle. But I hadn't been paying much attention to it recently, and he reminded me of that. I appreciate him for that. It was actually Dick from Smoky Mountain Outpost that mentioned that. He commented on our video. Okay, well, get a couple screws in there and move on. Looks like it's Admiration Day around here, doesn't it? I'm standing there looking up at it like, wow, I did a good job. No, it's just, it's cold up here. My fingers are cold. You know, you want to go down and have a hot cup of coffee, but you got work you need to get done. That's all there is to it. Okay, we need 28 and 11/16 from the short side. So I'm going to go from the 10 and go to 38 and 11/16. Right there. Right there. Okay. Oh, yeah. I was afraid of that. Okay. I'm going to go do a little bit of trimming. What happened is on that first board I put up, I was a little bit off on that angle. So that angle, instead of being perfectly plumb, that cut there, it's actually slanting a little bit this way. So that point sticks out too far, makes this point on this one hit up top and doesn't let it come down enough. So I'm going to take and cut this back a little bit, take more off the point to this same point here, and let it drop down more. So I'll bring it down and do that. Okay, so much for that. Now it's ready for me to put our 6 more inches of insulation in each one of these bays, and then I can start insulating up and down like this. I can get a little ways, but at that, there's a bag hanging from ceiling over there. That's another ceiling speaker, and we ran out of wire, so I've got to get more wire before I can go any farther than the first 3 bays on that side. I can go a little bit farther on this side because those speakers are all done. Okay, guys, that completes that little portion there. Now I've got to start stapling insulation up in all of these. Once I get it up in all of these, now that I got those boards put on there on the same plane as the trusses, I can get all that insulation put in there, and then I can put some insulation in the ceiling up here. But I do have to make sure I leave myself room to be able to put that live edge slab in across here. That's going to be some work there because that's going to be heavy. Very heavy. I wish I had a Vermetti. Another word for Vermetti is a duck hoist. They have like a mast and a hand crank thing, and you can lift about 400 pounds with them. Might have to rent one to get that up there, or maybe put some kind of a chain fall or come along or something up at the ceiling, something like that. Hey guys, I was going to try to get this second layer insulation done today, but I just got a call from a neighbor over here. I plow her driveway, and her daughter and son-in-law got their camper stuck in the backyard. They're trying to move it into storage and everything. And his four-wheel drive quit working. The yard is soft, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I'm going to go give them a hand. So this is the end of today's video. Thank you for watching. Please give us a thumbs up if you liked it. And please consider sharing it with a friend. We appreciate all of you for watching. Thank you much. Take care. Bye.